Hello, everybody. Gary Laubach, Mike Joseph. We are behind the mic. Glad you are with us. The Leopards are on a 3-game winning streak. Looking good. They're at home again against the Princeton Tiger team. I don't normally like to start looking at next week's game, but I have to after this last Princeton game that Mike and I both watched. Bob Serace, 12th year head coach. He's done a fabulous job at Princeton, former NFL player. He's just a great coach. He's won 4 Ivy League titles. Last year was a down year for them. 2-5 in the Ivy League. They were 3-7 overall. All right, so I watched the ball game as you did, Mike, against San Diego. They're up 21-0. They're up 28-7. They're up 35-14 at the half. I text John Leone. I said, John, this team is absolutely unstoppable. They didn't score a point in the second half. You're a former coach. How does that happen?
I don't know. I really don't. Obviously, I think they got a little complacent. And again, you're on the road, or you're at home, so that shouldn't happen. When you're at home, you've got a team coming in here 3,000 miles away to play you. The team, obviously, San Diego was not as talented. I think they had good skill positions, but the problem right now for Princeton seems to be stopping the run, and they didn't do that in the second half. The team kept playing, and you got to give credit to these coaches, just like you do with Coach Troxel. Teams don't quit. They're going to continue to come at you, and the coaches are constantly preaching that. And I think a letdown, a little complacency on their side. We're at home. It was their home opener. They thought they were going to run away and hide, and I tell you what, they didn't. And that bothers me even more because I would have rather seen them win coming here to Lafayette than coming off a loss because Bob Serace, as you mentioned, great coach. He'll have them ready to go this week because there's going to be some ugly practices down in Princeton, New Jersey.
Well, the announcers of the ball game on ESPN Plus, they were talking about, all right, how does this happen? And they mentioned that Eli Manning once said, there are no adjustments at halftime. You go and have Gatorade, you get yourself back in shape, you come back out on the field. There had to have been some adjustments in the second half.
Yeah, I think the adjustments came from San Diego, though. We're going to do this and this. We're going to put an extra guy up to block. We're going to make sure we get our running game going with the Kreider kid. He was fantastic. They had a very mobile quarterback. I thought the quarterback did a nice job getting in and out of traffic, dumping the football off. Like I said, their skill positions are very similar to Lafayette, to Princeton, to Villanova, those type of teams. The problem is up front, like Stonehill, up front. Can they hold up front? Well, I thought their offensive line did a great job. They started to block. They put series together. Princeton made a few mistakes. They didn't extend drives. Princeton ran 13 plays in the second half until their final drive which is unbelievable. So again, they kept them off the field, time of possession. San Diego wanted that game a little bit more at the end.
So that's exactly what happened. They won the ball game as they won it 42-35, and I was amazed. It was one of those ball games I thought that Princeton would never lose that game. Offensively, they used 3 quarterbacks at the beginning of the ball game. In fact, I think the first 3 series had a different quarterback in there. Kai Cologne looked good, 12 for 18, 196 yards. He did throw a touchdown. Blaine Hippa came in. He's the senior, 6 for 8, 87 yards. So the quarterback was we didn't see the third guy, I don't think, much at all in the second half. Good running back, and Ethan Clark, 72 yards. He averaged almost 10 yards per carry in the ball game. Had a touchdown, had a touchdown receiving the football. They used 12 different receivers. We're used to Princeton. They're a team that just it drives you a little bit nuts because of all the number of people they use in skill positions.
Yeah, they have depth. They really do. And they've always been allowed to have a few more players than most of the Patriot League teams. And like you said, I think that the running back's good. The quarterbacks are okay. I don't like a 2-quarterback system. To me, it takes a little bit away from the overall continuity of the team. And the cadence is a little bit different. One's a runner, one's a little bit more of a passer. I think Kai Cologne can throw the football. I saw him first 3 plays of the game, bang, bang, bang to the outside. So they're going to spread it around. They don't care who catches it. They run a lot of crossing routes. And again, if Lafayette's going to play man, they got to be aware of that. The pick plays, a lot of crossing routes and those type of things. So Princeton is a team that wants to run their offense. They're not going to be worried so much about what you do. If they run their offense and they're efficient, you see they can put up 35 points quickly. I just don't think they have the big guy, the big hard-hitting running back. They don't have a single wide receiver like they had a few years ago with their wide receiver that they did have. But again, the quarterback, and not much of a runner, Cologne, the other guy is. So, again, lots to worry about, lots for Mike St. Germain to worry about when he's watching film.
Well, if you want to worry about somebody, you got to worry about Marco Scarano. He's a linebacker on the defensive side. He had 18 tackles in this ball game, and it seemed like he was in on almost every one of them. A career high. He had a forced fumble in the game. They held San Diego to 133 yards rushing. But passing, as Mike said, the secondary a little iffy, 352 yards in the air. So you find Scarano, maybe you find a victory.
I tell you what, I watched him, and they kept talking about him. Oh, there's number 2. And I read a little bit of his backstory. He was a safety. And they said, oh, and somebody got hurt in front of him early in the game, early last year. They just threw him in, and all of a sudden, he's leading the team in tackles. So I don't think he's a real big kid, but he runs really well. And he runs through. We're going to talk about that on Inside the Huddle, is you got to be able to worry about him coming through on blitzes, backside B gap, A gap. Same thing we saw Beckham D do, running through the gaps, taking the gaps, making plays. So this kid can run all over the field. You got to have an eye on him, not only on the blitz. He can cover in coverage. He gets his hands on footballs. I watched him. I said, wow, I thought he had 25 tackles, not 18. So, again, he's a guy you got to pick out. Number 2, keep your eye on him. He's a great player.
Mike always leads me into the next segment very nicely. We've worked together a little bit too long, I think. I want to talk about Beckham D. 25 tackles on the season. He's done a great job this year as a freshman coming in. He's a redshirt freshman. Avery Jones, 23 tackles. Kevin Doder, 22 tackles. Ryan Gadsden, 12 tackles and a couple of sacks. Robert Stevens, 3 sacks. It's really a nice defensive unit, and we were worried about the defense before we started playing games.
Yeah, I think we weren't worried about the speed because we knew that they could fly and run around, but the solidity that Beckham D has brought from a middle linebacker standpoint or the Sam line, whatever you want to call him, but he does it in pass. You saw him do it on a 3rd down. He knocked a ball down 15 yards down the field. Then he comes and makes 3 plays on the goal line. I mean, he's an outstanding player. If he can stay healthy, I mean, he's got all the traits of being a Andy Romans, a Schmidline, a Raw Howard, a Brandon Bryant. I mean, these guys can play. Marco Olivas. I mean, all the linebackers that we're accustomed to, Maurice Bennett. He has that ability, got to stay healthy, and he's a bigger kid. I'm telling you, he can run, and to have that type of ability. Remember, he's a Penn State transfer, and Chalk's talked about it. We recruited him. He's very good, and now you add in a guy like the other linebacker that we have, Robert Stevens, really good. They're going to be good. They're getting better each week, the defense. And again, they gave up less than 100 yards rushing for the third straight game.
3rd game in a row they've done that. And you'll get a look, if you wish, at Beckham D on GoLeopards.com. He'll be at the press conference this week. You'll get a good look at him and get to understand the young man a little bit. Some of the high points for Lafayette, Kente Edwards has just been outstanding.
He's amazing. And, I didn't know. I thought, who's going to be the running back coming in this year? Obviously we lose somebody, we come back, and I like Ethan Weber. I like what he does. Got good speed. He's broke a few. But this kid, if you don't tackle him, and that's the impressive thing, not the speed. We knew he could fly. But the contact balance you and I talked about during the game, the way he bounces off people, keeps his balance. He's low to the ground. He's strong. He can bounce. He can go through a tackle. He can go around a tackle. He really can do it all. Runs a little bit odd. You got a little bit of an odd running style. But, wow, I tell you what, the contact balance is amazing. And I tell you, Princeton's got to be holding their heads right now saying, guys, we have to wrap up. We have to take him down 2-3 people to the ball, and we cannot give him space. I'd like to see Lafayette get him the ball on a little bit of a screen, get him in the open space like that. But, boy, he's been a blessing, and he leads the nation.
Yeah, when he lowers the shoulder and goes through a line, if you hit him, he's still going to get 3 or 4 yards. That's just his strength. Last 3 games, 127 yards rushing, 255 and 150, and 10 touchdowns in the last 3 games. He is, again, for the 3rd straight week, the Offensive Player of the Week in the Patriot League. Dean DeNoble has really come. I mean, he's looking like Dean DeNoble again this past ball game. 11 different receivers. Carson Persing seems to be all over the place. They're obviously focusing on Eli a bit defensively, and that leaves Carson some room he's taken advantage of.
Yeah, and that's what he's going to do. You're going to roll coverage over the top of Eli, not let him have the outs, not let him have the deep ball. You're going to roll a safety over. It also, if you think about it, the guy that's benefiting is Kente Edwards because of the 2 deep shell coverage. Off guys, 4 in the secondary, 6 in the box. Today, this week we're going to talk about in the box, counting. Are there 6? Are there 7? If there's 6 or 7 in the box, that's Kente Edwards all day long. If you have to add a safety, now that opens things up for Eli. So you got to really pick your poison. But Dean DeNoble, I love the way he's just quiet, goes about his business. As long as he doesn't turn the football over, Lafayette wins games, and he's been really efficient the last couple weeks. A little trouble in the Bowling Green game, obviously. But he's come on, he's put games together, he's a humble guy, no nonsense, and on the sideline this week you saw him, we're just going crazy. We're winning this football game. So he's the quarterback you want for this team. And
went down with a little bit of an injury to his foot, and he just came right back. It didn't bother him. But I get, you know what, the team, the group that deserves the 4 stars, the offensive line has been terrific.
They've been great. They really have been great. It all starts with Kinney. Kinney and Basha are fantastic, and they've been really, really good. I love what they do. Spencer Adams goes a little unnoticed, too. Again, a big body in there. Reed Collins played better. I said last week, Reed Collins has to play better. He's got to do a better job. And you look at Sean Wilson, the local product. I mean, they've been really good. The guy who doesn't get enough credit, Ethan Hosak blocking. You got to add Ethan in there, right? And then the downfield blocking by Persing and Elijah and Mason Keener. These guys got to get down the field. So you add Hosak in there. This is a nice offensive line. They have a few guys that can step in that have had a chance to play. If they stay healthy, it reminds me of a line from 2023 that led us to the championship.
Around the league this week, we see some haves and have-nots. There were 3 league games, or 2 there were. Colgate beat Fordham 44-21. Lehigh beat Bucknell 41-24. I had a chance to watch the Lehigh game. Lehigh is looking very, very good as the defending champ. Yale beat Holy Cross 28-10. Brown over Georgetown 46-0. That was a little shocking. Richmond beats VMI 38-14. And Colgate, of course, beats Fordham 44-21. So Lafayette, Colgate, Lehigh, Richmond all win. Fordham, Bucknell, Holy Cross, and Georgetown all lose. Interesting this week. Bucknell takes on Richmond. That's an interesting ball game. Rucker did look good against Lehigh when given some opportunities, but Lehigh caused them some trouble with pressure.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I think anybody can beat anybody in this league. I was disappointed to see Georgetown go up and get whacked by Brown 46-0. I don't kind of get that. But I thought, and the Bucknell-Lehigh game was competitive, but you could see the strength of Lehigh, again, their offense and defensive line, just much better. So this is an opportunity for a lot of teams. You see kind of the cream rising to the top right now. Holy Cross cannot win a game, but they're getting so close. It's just they're still a good team.
They're good.
And they're a really good team. And Colgate, look what Colgate did. I mean, Colgate is a good football team. So I worry about this game a little bit as not a trap game, but you have another Patriot League game after this. It's your second game. It's Princeton, who's always going to play you tough. You know, our record against Princeton is horrible, but we did win the last game down there 12-9, and we did it defensively. Our defense got to step up. Keep getting better, stacking those bricks. I'm telling you what, this could be a special season for Lafayette. But again, don't go unfocused this week. You cannot. You've got to focus on the task at hand, one play at a time. It's Princeton. Not Patriot League. It's Princeton this week for a W.
Yeah, every coach that gets interviewed anymore tells you how hard it is to win a game. It's so hard to win a game.
Like a coach?
Yeah, you do. Coming up this week, Bucknell will take on Richmond. Very interesting, as we mentioned. Georgetown against Columbia. Penn Lehigh. Another Patriot League will be Holy Cross against Fordham, and St. Francis will take on Bucknell. So a full slate. All Patriot League teams are in action. We are in action. We'll see you for a 3:30 kickoff on ESPN Plus. Make sure you join Mike, myself, and the gang down on the field for this one if you can't get here to Fisher Field. So thanks for watching Behind the Mic.